many years ago, over almost 25 years ago, 23 years ago, I had a boss who I was in the in-group, or close to being in the in-group, and I thought that I was about to be promoted, and I deserved to be promoted. I worked at that level. She trusted me, she valued me, and she came to me one day and said, I'm going to send you on a speech course so you can learn to communicate more effectively. I said, what's wrong with my communication? And she said, we just need you to be tighter. We need you to be able to communicate better. I said, okay. So she sent me on a speech class. It was very offensive to me because I thought I was good at my job, and part of my job was to communicate up, down, and across, and I was known for getting the job done, which means I was a good communicator. So I had to make a decision. Should I go on this speech course? I got home, I was very upset. And I thought about it, and I made a conscious decision to go back to work the next day and say, okay, I will go on the speech course. I went, and the person who administered the course called my boss at the end of the course. It was a 2-day seminar, and she called my boss and said, I'm not sure why Duane was here, because he could practically teach the course. And so my boss came to me and said, oh, I heard you did really well in the course, and it was that you were so outstanding. She said you could practically teach the course. And I said, oh, that's great. And I laughed, she laughed, and we moved on. I was grossly offended by it, but I went, I did what was asked of me, and I was promoted within 6 months. Did I need the speech course? No, but I did it anyway. Why exactly did she ask me? Well, I believed it was my accent. I 100% believed it was my accent, and that my accent was a Caribbean accent. So fast forward 5 years. I am now at a higher level than my boss was when she asked me to go on the speech course. I now have over 150 employees working for me, 15 to 20 managers, and a few supervisors, and one person who I thought was on the fast track to being promoted. She was excellent. She was my go-to person. And my boss came to me and said, we want to send, let's call this person Diane. We want to send Diane on a speech course. I said, why? What's wrong with the way Diane communicates? He said, well, we just want her, she needs to be tighter. She needs to communicate more effectively. I said, she communicates just fine. He said, for me to be able to promote her, we need for her to communicate more effectively. So I approached Diane, and Diane is livid. So exactly what happened to me 5 years ago is happening to Diane, except I am now the oppressor. I am asking Diane. I thought what happened to me happened because I was black and Caribbean. Except Diane is not black and not Caribbean. Diane is white and Jewish. And Diane is pissed off. Now Diane is white and Jewish with a thick Brooklyn accent. And my boss actually told me she needs to go on a speech course because we need to get rid of that accent. That Brooklyn accent is it's not corporate enough. And so in an instant, I realized that what happened to me 5 years ago had nothing to do with race, but had everything to do with me not being corporate enough. And so now I had to translate that information to Diane. And so Diane is livid. She's like, I'm not going to any speech course. That's ridiculous. It's an insult. I said, listen, do what is asked of you because it happened to me 5 years ago. Move on from it. Is it a bad thing? Yes. Is it going to hold you back if you don't go? Yes. Make a choice. Go on the damn speech course and call it a day. And so it was microaggression with me. it was microaggression with Diane, and it had nothing to do with race. It had everything to do with being different and not corporate. And so the perception that a minority has to have in moving up in a corporate environment in the US is to understand that being different is good and bad, but how you perceive it has everything to do with the level of success you have. Are you able to sacrifice yourself? Are you willing to sacrifice things that you know are wrong to move ahead? It's a choice. Diane could have made a choice to not go, and she would have been held back. I could have made a choice to not go, and I would have been held back. At the end of the day, it's a choice. I chose to go. I persuaded Diane to go. Had she not had the benefit of my experience, I doubt she would have gone and she would have been held back. She's doing very, very well now today.